It's time for the GeoJam 2022, an awesome competition where hundreds of game developers create epic games in 72 hours. I've participated in 2 GeoJams before this, and I did quite well with both of my games. This is my 3rd GeoJam, so the stakes are higher than ever to do my best. Let's get into the development of Rotation 3D. I woke up in the morning, the sun was shining, birds were chirping, and I felt peace inside my soul. Then the theme came, and peace was gone. The theme was revealed to be pick a side, so I started brainstorming. A few ideas came to me, such as a dodgeball type game or a betting game, but there was one idea that ruled them all. First, some backstory. The theme for the first GeoJam was The Other Side, which is quite similar to Pick a Side. For the first GeoJam, I made a game called Rotation where you would rotate the world around you and solve some puzzles to complete the levels. This game got 10th place and everyone seemed to enjoy the puzzles, gameplay, and music. Back in present day, I had the brilliant idea for Rotation 3D, but instead of rotating the level around you, you'd rotate a cube and platform on the section of the cube that's rotated towards the camera. This fits the theme by picking a side of the cube to rotate to. After thinking of this idea, so many ideas flooded to me for what I could make with this concept, but it also seemed a tad ambitious for the time I had. Even though I had my doubts, I decided to roll with it and create Rotation 3D. I started by boiling the concept down and figuring out what to do for the best player experience. At its core, the rotation of the cube is essentially just swapping out different platforming sections, so I decided to start by creating just that. I made a simple system that has an order of blocks that can be swapped at the press of a button. After this, I had to create the functional rotation of the cube itself. This took quite a while due to my incompetence when it comes to the alert function, but I got it figured out eventually. I knew that the player would need to be able to see what they were getting into by activating rotation, so I created a transparent viewing layer that was activated while holding either Q or E before confirming the rotation by pressing space. The absolute basic functionality of the cube was complete, but everything was looking terrible, which meant it was time for visual improvements and polish. The player clipping through the cube was unacceptable, so I moved the player off of the face of the cube while it was rotating. I changed the overlay to be a solid color rather than transparent, as the overlapping shapes could be seen through each other and it looked better as well. I added some quick post-processing with just a little bit of colored bloom and some vignettes. Then I did something that I should have done a long time ago. All this time, my squares have moved so lifelessly, been so stale, and I haven't done anything about it. But now, I have square animation. This animation was so simple to implement and adds so much fluidity and life to the scene. It's honestly super cool, and I don't know how I've never done anything like it before. This wrapped up the first day and left me at a good point to start on for day 2. I didn't have quite as much time on day 2, but I still made some great progress. I started by making some effects for the player, such as a jump effect and an effect for crashing into the cube. I changed the overlay color to a better looking gray because the green was just not doing it. The post-process needed some touching up, so I changed the values until I got it looking good. Because the level is a cube, I thought it would be a good idea to visualize this by panning around the cube before the level begins. I used some basic Unity animations and timings to pan around the cube before the player falls from the sky onto the cube. The final change I made on day 2 was creating a randomizing color script that would change the color of the background in the post-processing to add some color flare to the levels. That ended day 2, so all the levels would have to be made on the final day. It was day 3, but there was still so much to be done. I needed to make all the levels, add sound, music, menus, and finish polishing. I didn't know if I'd get it done, but I knew I'd try my best. I started creating levels, but I only got to level 4 before I found a critical issue. I was creating the overlay using a script that would copy the blocks on one side of the cube, remove collision, change the color, and rotate it towards the front of the cube. I did this so I didn't have to create the overlays by hand in every level. This script, however, didn't put the overlay over the cube perfectly, so the edges looked terrible and nothing lined up as it should have. To solve this issue, I had to change my methodology and change the sorting order rather than moving the blocks forward. Once this was solved, I went ahead with making a few more levels before stopping to find music. Let me tell you a tale about the most epic music creator the land has ever heard of. About a year and a half ago during the first geojam, I was browsing the Blackthorn Prod Discord server and I found a very kind composer named Jayhawk, who allowed me to use their awesome music in their first rotation. I used the amazing music and everything was good. Back in present day, I was rushing for music once again, and I decided to check the Blackthorn Prod Discord server. As it turns out, Jayhawk was still making music and had recently posted a track that fit the game perfectly. I knew this was too good to be true, but I still needed to ask for permission. Everything had gone too well and fears started flooding my mind. What if they won't let me use their music? What if they don't respond in time? I had all these fears, but Jayhawk responded with the A-OK within 3 minutes of me sending the message. I was so excited that I'd gotten the same composer for the sequel of Rotation, it gave me the final push of motivation that I needed to finish the game with top quality. After I got the music implemented, I created some sound effects and started work on menus. For the menus, I created a simple rotation animation with the cube in the center, and I found a simple free font to use that looked nice. I created some simple button scripts and got everything looking good. At this point, I realized that it was a tad confusing which way you could rotate in the later levels, so I took some time adding arrows that would indicate where you can rotate. It was time to finish creating levels, so I took the challenge in stride and created some awesome final puzzles. I sent the game to a few people to playtest and they said they enjoyed it, so I decided that the game was done. When the results came in a week later, I really hoped I did well. I opened the results page and I got second place! This is the best I'd ever done in a game jam, and I was so excited that I'd done so well. All my hard work and late nights had paid off, and I was so happy. I had so much fun creating this game, and I'm really glad I took part in this game jam. Thanks so much to Icoso for hosting. A very special thanks to Jayhawk for making the music, and last but not least, thanks for watching.